Good afternoon, everyone. It's very exciting. We finally have our Zoom on Facebook. So what better guest to have side by side with me on Facebook than Glynis Johns, the founder of the Black Scranton Project. Also with Glynis, and I can't tell on my app if we can see Connie Bennett. Connie Bennett owns Vanity Salon in Westside. So we're thrilled to be able to have a conversation with Glynis and Connie at the top of the town hall today. And then as we usually do, we'll go through updates, talk about services that are available for you and your family, services that are available for your business, things that you can do to help if you're able to volunteer your time, or if you have resources, whether financial or anything else where you might be able to get those out to the community. After that, I'll take your questions, and we're going into the Memorial Day weekend, and it feels different than usual, but we'll answer whatever we can now, and we'll be back on Tuesday to continue the conversation. So just to update before we head into the program. Again, so excited that we can actually be live on Facebook with the whole guest panel. It's still red phase here in Lackawanna County and in Scranton. So keep talking about this. And I know to those of you who tune in twice a week, I know I'm kind of a broken record, but we are in red phase. I know it's difficult because there are counties going yellow all around us now, but we are still in red phase. I understand, and I feel myself that there are some things within red phase that are starting to not make a lot of sense. I ask that you please bear with us, bear with the governor. The governor and the Department of Health they're using information, they're looking at data, they're talking to health experts. I here in Scranton continue to talk to our infectious disease specialists in the area and our hospitals. The virus is here, it's still here. I personally have a dear friend who's contracted COVID and is in the hospital right now. It's still here, and I'm working to get your input to the governor's office to help them understand what we're facing here in terms of things maybe not making a ton of sense with the way that some retail is open but other retail is not, those types of things. But that all of that is not to overshadow the fact that we still are in this public health crisis. The virus is still here. People are still at risk. And while I won't sit here today and tell you that, I expect everyone to shelter in place this weekend, I'm not naive. I'm not going to pretend that I don't, my condos out here, I can hear 81. The traffic has increased. We can tell. We know that. So what we need to ask is for people to understand we're still in red phase. Please adhere to the stay-at-home order as much as you can, and especially if you are in that category of at risk or somebody that you interact with is. So please do that. Please wear a mask. We've got some new guidance that we'll link you guys to in a bit. Please wear a mask. It really is, while uncomfortable, it's a simple thing that we can all do to help protect each other. And then the social distance pieces, I know that you want to go out and see your families. If just please do keep it to less than 10 people like we've been doing. We are still really, really in this, and we start to have parties and things like that. It's going to be difficult for everyone because the COVID virus is here. It's also going to be hard on my city employees because then they have to decide what to do. We've got to go out and we don't want to be breaking up things. It's not fun for us, and it's certainly not fun for anybody else. So we can just stay the course and do what we're doing and hold on a little bit tighter. We'll be able to get plans implemented and to reopen in a safe way. So with that, I want to reintroduce Glynis Johns, founder of the Black Scranton Project, and Connie Bennett, owner of Vanity Salon. Wanted to talk to you guys about what your experience has been like in the last couple of months. Glynis, you're community leader. You're also in academia, so you've got an interesting perspective. And then Connie, of course, as a small business owner, you have interesting perspective as well. In the meantime, I'm going to turn off the washing machine. So maybe Glynis, you could kick it off for us.
Okay.
I'll be right.
Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Again, my name is Glennis Johns. I'm the founder of the Black Scranton Project, and I'm trying to do what I can to hopefully connect people to resources, try and be a voice for community and marginalized communities of color in the Scranton area, and also just connect people to resources, arts and cultural programs that are available, and just try to bring a little bit of uplift and where we can to the community. We're just a small organization, so we can't do everything, but we're trying our best. And when Mayor Paige Cognetti invited me into the conversation, she asked if I knew anybody who can speak on behalf of small businesses. And the first person that always comes to mind is Connie Bennett, because she's not only a good friend of mine, but she's also on the board of Black Scranton Project. And she runs, to me, one of the best Black-owned hair salons in the city of Scranton. We met back in like 2017 now, before I was like going on vacation with my mom. And after that day, we've been good friends since. Connie's been helping take care of my hair, you know, and she's just a light. She works in New York City in the tri-state area, worked with celebrities and a bunch of different things. And I think you bring a lot to the community. I think the conversations that you have with a lot of women is very empowering, especially to our young girls and teens out here who, one, would like to connect with the fact that, you know, there are women of color who are taking leadership roles and showing that there are ways to engage and have careers like right here in the community. So for that, I always have to spotlight my girl Connie for that. So just wanted to give her that introduction.
Absolutely. Connie.
I don't think we can hear you. Hang on.
Connie, are you there?
Still can't hear you. Hang on. I know. No, we still can't hear you.
She dialed in.
Difficulties.
Hey, listen, we've had them. We've definitely had them. Well, we're waiting for Connie to get on. We can frame, in terms of her business being a salon, we can frame up the conversation for her a little bit, where I talk to a lot of salon owners, and it is so challenging because the salons aren't open in the yellow phase either. Mm-hmm. And the salon owners are a very good example of a business that is really, really hard to be in right now. And also a business for which the PPP and some of these relief programs haven't worked very well.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to.
Sorry to cut you off. You know, I was just going to say that. And I thought that with the conversation about like beauty salons and like parlors and like self-care spaces opening up, I thought it would be kind of cool for someone to hear from someone that works in that space, how that might work. And also just the realities, if it doesn't work right now, I think that's a fair thing to say. Maybe give some tips to, if we can, about, and if we have time, about like how maybe you can keep up with your hair, self-care things while you're home waiting for salons to open back up.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, there you are.
Hey, Connie. So good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Glennis. Thank you for that awesome introduction. You are the inspiration that keeps me motivated to try to do more. So I'm just thankful to know you and to be a part of this massive movement that you're having. And I think that, you know, young girls like my daughter and my nieces who are growing up will someday read about the work that you do and how encouraging you are and how inspiring you are and how incredible you are. So I'm just glad to know you. I'm Mayor Cognetti. I'm so proud of the work that you're doing in Scranton. It's so wonderful to see you in office. I've reached out to your team a few times early on when the COVID crisis had reached us, just to see what the plans were on your behalf. And they just gave me such amazing resources. It was like very early days. And I think everyone in the country and the world were figuring out what to do with their economies going forward. And when I reached out to your team, If they didn't know an answer, they didn't pretend to know an answer. They told me, this is new, we're figuring it out, we'll follow up. They followed up with me, gave me information, that I was looking for, and just were helpful. And it's a breath of fresh air knowing that even in an uncertain time, that our assigned leader and their team is willing to do the work, which in whatever capacity they possibly can, but they're willing to do something. So it's refreshing to know that Scranton, which can be a little behind the times, in comparison with other bigger cities, at least you're willing to hear our concerns and willing to do whatever you can to try to just work together. And I just have to say that I'm appreciative of what you're doing at this far, like since you've been in office. So just thank you. And I'm just glad to officially meet you and thank you in person. So you both are incredible. To know that Scranton, which can be a little behind the times, in comparison with other bigger cities.
So you turn off your, I am so proud to hear that. It feels incredible when the system works. My team has been so responsive and so good, and I'm so proud of them. So thank you, Connie. I really appreciate that. Connie, if you could talk a little bit about your experience being a business owner, a business that's not been able to be open. What are your colleagues in the small business community? What has it been like for you? And of course, the next question would be, what else can we be doing from the city? What can we be doing from a community perspective? And we've got probably about 100 people looking at this, and then this gets clicked on and shared throughout the rest of the day. We get a lot of eyes and ears on this. I think that people really want to hear how they can help. All of the small businesses. I'll give an example. Last week we had Josh Maston from Posh, and I asked him what people could do to be most considerate when they're doing takeout. And I hadn't even thought about some of these things. He said, please order with your neighbors and come pick up. That decreases the amount of pressure on the kitchen because we get a big order at once. It decreases the pressure on the staff to be delivering to 3, 4, 5 different houses. So even really like granular tips about things that people can do. So, but please start with your story and that of your fellow business owners.
Vanity is a very small operated boutique style salon. It's very intimate, in which we already have social distance practices before this even had arisen. So we're very, very intimate. There's 2 stylists there, so there's never any more than 2 clients in there at a time. So we already had implemented some of the new ways that it looks like we'll be moving forward to be more safe. But we've completely shut our doors. When Governor Wolf suggested that all businesses close, small businesses, just to contain the virus, keep it, at bay, we immediately closed our doors because we didn't want to be the reason why anyone brought or passed an infection through us. So that was second week of March. And we've shut our doors ever since, and we've been sending out mass emails to our clients, just letting them know we miss them. We can't wait to get back in touch with them. But we've just really been taking this time to follow strict orders and quarantine because, again, we don't want to be the reason why anyone gets sick. It's been a bit of a change for me because I came off of a busy season for work, traveling the country, doing a little bit of work, and to come from that right into quarantine. So I was actually out of the salon for about 3 months. And then to come from that into quarantine where I'm not able to see any of my clients or generate any income or revenue, it's a little bit scary because I am a service industry. So if I'm not working with people, then I'm not earning any income. And so it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but we try to be smart about what we do and how we conduct our business. And we created a cash reserve that's now, carrying us through this hard time. And we are just trying our best to be smart about where we're going with this. And again, how to keep people safe.
Have you been able to access any of either the federal programs or any other relief programs?
I did apply as soon as they came out, as soon as they announced that the initial stimulus was passed for the small businesses. I did go ahead and apply it, and I did get a small stimulus from the government for the business that was a part of the payroll protection program. And I was able to disperse that and use it to help us get through these last few months. My landlord of the property was really kind and deducted the April rent. And then the Women in Philanthropy donated a grant to us. So we have been with resources locally and on a national level. We've been able to sustain, and with our cash reserve, we've been able to sustain. So I'm really thankful for the people that have just looked out for us.
That's great. But the problem I'm asking, I assume, looking at the future, if we aren't going into green, it's not like we're going tomorrow, right? We're not even in the yellow phase yet. So I would imagine businesses like yours are, you're looking at more hard times ahead. And if there are things that you can think of that we can be helpful with, I know you mentioned the Women in Philanthropy. I actually was in touch with them last night to see if they do still have a small amount of money in their grant program. So I'm glad you highlighted that. I'm glad you were able to take advantage of that. So the county just came out with some grants, and then the city we're working on rolling something out. And I think it probably be early June, but would be a mix of grants and loans, because we know that the businesses, it's not that if you couldn't pay, maybe you can't pay June rent. Well, July might be just as difficult. August might be just as difficult. Like this is going to have ramifications for months, and broadly in the economy, we might not be back to normal for years. So I want you to know that we're trying to continue to do things. But what's your what's your biggest need on that? So if you look at the next few months, are you most worried about rent? Are you most worried about inventory? Like what's kind of the bigger concern? Like if you wanted a grant for something, like what's the thing that you'd want a grant for?
I definitely want to be able to stay afloat with rent. I know that if I don't pay my rent, then my landlord, who is a great guy and who's been working with me, throughout my existence in his building, he's just not able to handle his finances, because I'm a small business. So the government will attempt to look out for me, but landlords and homeowners, they're maybe not big enough to be a small business, or maybe they have, one or two properties and they're not considered a small business. So what happens to people like them? So I try to take that into account when I'm budgeting things. I don't want him to be in the negative or the red, because I may be able to obtain a grant or a loan from the government, being that I do have that employee identification number and I operate as a business. But what about him? So I try my best to, in an order of priority, make sure that the rent is paid. I've touched base with the utility companies, who have all been amazing, and they're all on board with delaying payments and late fees, and making sure that the credit stays good without like adding on any of those, how it goes. Just working with us. So I've touched base with everyone just to say right now we're okay. But again, we don't know what this is going to bring in the long term. So how can we work together? And everyone has been just honestly so helpful. But to answer your question, I'd love to make sure that rent is continually paid, because I'd hate for him to potentially lose the building, which is worst case scenario, but it's just me thinking worst case and hoping for the best. And then I'd like to keep my fellow employee paid as well. And she just had a small baby and started a family. And this is a really uncertain time for, the both of us. And she depends on me and looks to me to answer a lot of the questions that she has. So payroll protection for sure. And just making sure that rent is covered, so that another person that is dear to me when it comes to the business is taken care of financially.
I think you made some really great points, just like all around, in terms of identifying support in the community that's available. The Scranton Area Foundation has also been supportive of the Black Scranton Project at this time, helping us get grants to like keep up our small maintenance bills and also do things to help with the community. So they're also a great resource. And also the fact that you're saying too, as a small business owner, that you're trying to be as proactive as keeping up on top of like your bills because of your landlord, who's also kind of a friend who you don't want to see. There's like it's kind of like we all kind of have to help each other, like a lift as we climb sort of scenario. And it's refreshing to hear you say that, for one, because I think a lot of times some people try to take advantage of the fact that like they don't have to pay rent, or like, you know, they get a little bit of extra stimulus money. But at the end of the day, I think like right now we all should, in whatever small ways that we can, like try and help each other. And that's really cool to hear that, you know, that you are trying your best to do that. And hopefully it'll inspire some other people who have small businesses to do the same, because I think whatever you give out in this world will come directly back to you. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to say that.
Yeah, that's the fact that you're thinking of others is so, and that's what we're seeing all around the city. This community can really do amazing things. And Connie, your words and your concerns from your landlord to your employee, I mean, we're all truly like one ecosystem. And I love that that's how you're thinking too. And it's helpful every time that we have these conversations for me, because as we try to think through what programs can be helpful, you know, right now I'm thinking of like the three things that we're working on the Small Business Relief Fund, we're working on property tax relief, and then we're working on the open streets concept, right? So in those three things that, you know, I've got to keep working on after the town hall, that's helping the business owners and the landlords and the resident. I mean, it's kind of like ways to help everyone as much as possible, the employees of those businesses. So we're trying to do everything we can. And I know that we're kind of at the beginning of a long slog, certainly nowhere near the end. So is there anything else, Connie, when you think about like yourself or other business owners, what can people in the community do? Are there things that are helpful to you? Are there things like with your social media that are helpful, or anything like that?
I feel like people in our community, our neighbors have all stopped in one at a time to tell us how happy they are to see us there and how proud they are to have us on the corner, around the corner of Main and Sweatland, right there across from Rite Aid. That small space had operated as a barbershop for maybe over 20 years, I believe. And it was vacant for a bit. And then we moved in, and I think that they had missed having a business on the corner when it went vacant for a bit. So a lot of people came in and gave words of encouragement and just positive affirmations, letting us know that they were happy to see us. And honestly, I am a resident of Scranton in the Greenridge area. My partner is out in Luzerne County in Pittston, and we're not at the business every day. We don't want to be in there because it's wide open and give people the impression that we're in there or we're working, or, you know, we just kind of ride past every now and then, make sure it's okay. So if our neighbors on the block could just keep an eye for us, look out for us in that way, that would be amazing. Right now, we're not able to be in there and take any clients. We don't want to encourage people to walk in because we're a small space. It's hard to social distance if too many people will come in. So just our neighbors keeping an eye, which is what they do, and they're amazing for that. And just keep us in mind so that, you know, when we do finally come back to work, you know, we'll be ready and you know, back to making people feel beautiful, which is what we're both so anxious to get back into. So just when those lights do come on and that door does open, just support us.
Would it be helpful or like overwhelming if people purchased like gift cards or, you know, or gift certificates for salon sessions or whatever down the road when we can go? Would you, that be something that we could do?
That would totally be helpful. It would be helpful. I'm thinking on a long-term basis. And if you can purchase a service in advance that way, that would be great. But I don't want to put that kind of pressure on people because I know that times are so uncertain. We'll certainly be there. We're hoping to ride this wave until we can't anymore. But just with the times being uncertain, I want people to secure themselves now so that in the long term they're strong, you know? So again, with the help of the city, with the help of the country and just our friends and our peers, I think that will sustain. I'm hopeful that will sustain because I don't know what the future holds. But when we are in a better place collectively, just support.
I agree. Or just support now however you can. Honestly, yeah. I've been, a lot of my friends are like all across the country, and some of them are getting back into like their art hobbies and selling things on Etsy or whatever. So if I have a couple dollars, I'll buy a shirt or order something from them or a print or something, because that genuinely does help. Like if you can afford to support your friends, not only will you have a beautiful piece of local living art or whatever it is, but you're also supporting a friend who's doing what they love and trying to make it by now however they can. So if you can spare things like that, I always recommend anyone shop small, local, women-owned, Black-owned, POC-owned first before you go to big box stores. So sure. That's my motto all the time. I try to do that where I can. And I think Scranton's a great place because we have a lot of these artisanal businesses that are trying to do curbside pickup, that are switching their inventories to meet the needs of people now. So definitely, while you have some time, do a little research, start a little note of things you want to get, and then buy those from your list of things first and not impulse buys. So that's just my own quarantine tip for those who are trying to spend your dollar responsibly.
Yeah, great advice. I love that.
And any anything on those like different local businesses, Etsy pages, things that people are doing, get those to our team and we can point people in those directions. That's a good point as we try to finally open up our homes and it's nice and warm. I think anything that we can do to beautify our homes, at least while we're waiting to beautify ourselves at salons like yours, Connie. That's a really great point, Glynis. I know that I need to get my hair done and I can't wait to go to a salon. My husband's hair is longer than it's been in his entire life. And it's driving him crazy because he keeps having to move his head around. He's like, he jokes his neck is starting to hurt because his hair's getting so
He's whipping his hair back and forth.
Kind of been the opposite. I've realized all the things that I can do myself and pretty good. So I've been feeling kind of empowered in the fact that I'm like, oh, I can fix this up myself. I can do this myself. And like my nail art skills are coming back a little bit, So,
and I will say,
use this time to try it out yourself. You might surprise yourself.
That's a great point, Glynis. I will say that some of my clients have been reaching out via email, text, personally, leaving message forums on our website, asking questions about how they can groom themselves. So I've been having lots of one-on-one interactions behind the scenes with a lot of people who maybe just aren't, bold enough to go online or go on a live and walk, their viewers through how to do something. I've been having one-on-ones and just giving advice. So I will encourage anyone who sees this, who may have questions on how they can maintain their hair or how they can maintain their skin or things that they can do to just feel better and beautify themselves while at home in a safe way. If I can walk anyone through that, there's a message forum on our website, A Boutique Salon, all one word, aboutiquesalon.com. At the very bottom, you can leave your name, your phone number, ask any questions or deliver any message to us. We try to get back to you within like a day or two, but we will walk you through anything that we possibly can to help you feel and look better while you're in quarantine.
Connie, maybe we could start like a little clip series and link it with Vanity and Black Scranton and just
I would love that.
Some creating tips. We'll work on it this week.
I would love that.
They are doing it. Glynis, Connie, thank you so much for joining us today and adding some beauty and some smiles and some really good perspective on what it's been like, Connie. We are cheering you on and we're trying to do whatever we can to help make sure you and all of our other local businesses get through this tough time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Thanks, everybody. That was actually fun. It was nice to have a little bit of fun, even. And Connie, it's really it's nice to hear so much optimism. That's we all need to keep that optimism, because it's going to be a tough time, but I really think that we're going to get through it. It's just going to be hard though. So I wanted to say for the small business owners out there, so Women in Philanthropy, for women-owned businesses, they do still have some grants. That's through the Scranton Area Foundation. The county has its grants through the county, and then here at the city, we're trying to get something stood up as well, both proposing a loan program and a grant program. So hopefully those will be helpful things. As I mentioned, and we've mentioned before, so we're considering, well, we were already looking at property taxes. The legislature, it looks like something might pass that for the school districts that might kind of force the issue. We won't do anything in the city with property taxes unless the school district is right there with us, and vice versa. So with your property taxes, I know that they're due June 30th, so you don't incur a penalty. So we will have information on that very, very soon. The school district, I believe, is discussing it on their Tuesday meeting. It's a live ball here, but we'll be getting that information together, and we'll talk about it more on Tuesday, and we'll get that information to City Council as well. So we'll see what that looks like. It might be that the penalties are delayed for 6 months, and if that's the case, that'll be the case. If you're able to pay your property taxes, though, we appreciate it. We're going to really be facing some tough times with revenue in the city and the school district if we don't get a lot of those property taxes in June and July and August. So I think it's really the community spirit, and the same thing. If you can do it, please do it. If you can't, that's why we might make this move. But it's all about kind of what Connie and Glennis were saying, doing what you can for others during this tough time. So it might be as simple as paying your property taxes. You should have gotten your refuse bill this week. That's another thing. If you're able to pay that now, please do. We can do it online now, which we're really excited about. No more cash to pay your refuse bill if you don't have a bank account or it's difficult for you to pay online. You can send a money order or a cashier's check. So we certainly do accept those, just no more cash for our systems here at the city. And if the penalty is delayed, I think until September 30th for the refuse bill. If you can pay it now, terrific. If you can't, that's why we moved it. So it's even everything in this crisis, even down to the refuse fees, we're working as a team and a community. Let's see. So a couple of updates, like we talked about with, we're still in red phase. A lot of our neighboring counties are going into yellow phase. The governor had some guidance last night that, still, if we're still recommending that you don't travel to those other counties. It's better, and we're still in red. If we can stay in Lackawanna County, that's the best. Luzerne County remains in red as well. Best for us to stay in these counties where possible. The next phase of yellow, it's still, it's becoming more clear what that means, but we still aren't there yet. I know that in those yellow counties, there's information for parks and things like that, what you can do at those parks, what you can't do at those state parks. And it'll be interesting to see how it goes in the next few weeks in these yellow counties. As we always try to find the silver linings, maybe some of these other counties going yellow before us will be helpful, and maybe they'll be able to build in maybe a more certain system, build in a little bit more certainty into the yellow phase, so that when we go into it, we can understand a little better what we're going into and what we can and can't do. So we just kind of have to look at it positively in that way. Like I said, we're trying to work with the governor's office to get them the information that we feel is important from our perspective, being that our numbers are still ticking up, but not maybe in as much as they were. So with that, we've got word today that the Mohegan Sun Testing Center is closing on the 29th. So in just a week, the Mohegan Sun Testing Center will be closing. I don't want these things to be, and this is something that is important, I've been thinking about a lot. I don't want these types of things to be seen as a declaration of victory. It's the testing center closing is a very, very good thing, but it doesn't mean that COVID's not here. You know, Susquehanna County going yellow doesn't mean that the virus isn't still here. The numbers going down is excellent news, but it doesn't mean that there aren't still people that are getting sick. So we just have to really balance this, and it's hard. It's hard because it seems more fuzzy right now. The decisions we made in the early weeks and months were black and white. It was just, we have to do these things. We have to close. We got to do it. And now that we see reopenings in the state and across the country, it makes it harder to understand who's making decisions based on what. It's a bit of a haphazard response on a national level. And that makes it tough. So I understand that we have a lot of questions. I have as many questions as all of you do. So we'll try to do what we can to answer questions today. But I promise you I don't have all the answers. And I was so glad that Connie said that, you know, my whole team, same philosophy. We don't know the answer. We will make sure that we get back to you. We won't try to give you some information that we don't know is right. So with that, so Mohegan Sun's still open for testing. You still call PA Health if you have symptoms. What the 1877 PA Health. Geisinger still 284-3657. Wanted to talk about the masks piece. I think that besides staying home and besides, you know, really practicing that social distance, don't be, you know, going out and talk to your neighbors and, you know, from the yard, but, you know, please don't just be up next to everybody. Wearing a mask is, I think, the best thing that we can really, really do. It's easy. I know that I was talking with Tonyan from the Mask Bandits Project. They're winding that down. But if you still need a mask, call us 348-4101 or email scranton311@scrantonpa.gov. You know, some people really haven't been leaving their houses. Maybe you don't have a mask yet. We're happy to try to get you some. I think it's going to be the new normal, and we just have to get used to it. I know that I'm getting to a point where I feel uncomfortable if people aren't wearing a mask. I think that's kind of where we're going with this, is that masks will just be an act of courtesy to everybody else. We've talked before also, it's really hard on employees at stores if you come in not wearing a mask and they have to be the one to ask you to put one on or to leave. That's not cool for you to do that to them. So please do wear a mask. At this point, it's like, it's not cool not to wear a mask. It's rude. So please do wear those. It's just, you know, I did see something at some point like, well, you know, we all wear pants for each other in public. We probably should wear masks for each other in public now too. So we could try to make it a little bit lighthearted, but please do wear those masks. My team will post, there's new guidance from the governor. It's a mask guidance. I thought it was really interesting. I read it last night and realized I was not washing my mask enough. So that's why the washer was going. And I'm sorry that if you couldn't hear very well the first little while, but I realized that I hadn't been washing my mask enough. So please go to that guidance and see that you really need to be washing your mask every day. And you're not supposed to touch the front of it, which I didn't realize either. You're supposed to take it just by the straps from the ears and take it on and off. So there's some precautions with it. I know it's annoying, but we just kind of got to do it. So please take a look at that. And again, if you need a mask, 348-4101, my team will get you what you need. So we are working on a program to have, you know, businesses go out onto the sidewalks, close some streets, see if we can social distance in this next phase and have fun, and also help our small businesses come back online. With that, on a good way, it sounds like Governor Wolf signed a bill for cocktails to go. Bars and restaurants can sell drinks to go. However, and I did talk to Chief Graziano about this, of course, the open container rules are still in place. So you can get a to-go cocktail, but please enjoy that cocktail from the comfort of your home. But it's pretty, it's good news, I would say. Something good for our businesses. They make good revenues on cocktails. It might be a way to get a treat this weekend, but please do not drink and drive Absolutely not. That is not okay. Wait till you get home. Have that cocktail on your back porch or in your living room. So that piece is there for it's like a little thing, but we're going to be working with the liquor control board to see what we can do about the having drinks at restaurants on the sidewalks. Like I said, the parks are open, but there are guidelines. So if you can please visit the parks this weekend that are close to your home, do your distancing, stay 6 feet away from other people, other families. Please wear your mask. Don't make people, if we all wear masks, people will enjoy their time out there more. If you're sick, please don't go. Please don't, basketball games, things like that. Let's please not do that. And then, NAOG, it is time. I knew this was coming. NAOG, can't swim in the gorge. I've already been told as mayor that I will probably oversee some sort of tragedy in the gorge. Please don't do that to me. Don't do that to your families. No swimming in the gorge. It is very, very dangerous. Please, please, please do not do that. Please don't. Please don't. Okay. So I've said it. I'll keep saying it, but please don't. Also at NAG Park, the Scranton Greenhouse Project is having a plant sale and hanging basket sale this weekend. So today, actually right now, today and tomorrow, Saturday, 10 to 2, you need to order ahead at scrantongreenhouse.org. But if you order ahead, then they do a walk-up, drive-up service at the greenhouse at NAOG. So that's really cool. The Greenhouse Project's also beginning to accept donations of gently used bicycles. They are repairing them and donating them back to the community with helmets. That is so fabulous. I'm very excited about that. So if you have gently used bicycles, you can get that to the Greenhouse Project at NAOG. And they also have remote programs for seniors to participate at home. Some drawing classes will be coming up in June. They still have chair yoga, a cooking class, and a life writing workshop series. So these programs are co-sponsored by the County Area Agency on Aging. Always good work by the county and the Greenhouse Project and Jane Reese there. With all the bike talk, though, please make sure that you're putting your kids in helmets. It's really important that we make sure the kids are safe. I'm a big helmet person. My dad rides a motorcycle, and helmets. That's all I have to say. Please wear your helmets. All right. Election day is coming up. Not this coming Tuesday, but the following, June 2nd. So very important. You must sign up by 5 p.m. on Tuesday, May 26th, to receive receive a ballot in your mailbox. Basically, if you want to vote at home, and please vote at home, please go to votespa.com. Votespa.com. Like right now, if you're watching on Facebook, or if you're on the phone, or if you think there is someone in your life, even if they live somewhere else in the state, that they don't have their mail-in ballot, go to votespa.com. Ask for the mail-in ballot application so that you can get it back. They can get your ballot and you can vote from home on June 2nd instead of going to the polls. We're still going to be, we are under a state of emergency in Lackawanna County. Again, separate from the stay-at-home order, we're under state of emergency. Our public buildings are not open in the county or the city through at least June 8th. So we really ask that you vote from home. Get that. Go to votespa.com right now. Request that mail-in ballot application. Get it back ASAP. Get the ballot yourself, and then mail it back. Your voted ballot must be received by your county election office by 8 p.m. June 2nd. A postmark doesn't count. There is a drop box at the county office on Wyoming Avenue, or you can mail it back, but you need to make sure that it gets back by 8 p.m. on June 2nd. So really important. We don't want long lines and lots of people just chatting and standing next to each other and using the same pens at the ballot booth. Now, the county's doing a great job. The county's putting in as many safety measures as possible. But as we know, the virus is the virus. The virus doesn't care that it's election day. The virus is still out there. So we want you to vote. We want you to make your voice heard. You're going to probably be sick of me. I know you're going to be sick of me saying this between now and November. I I can't say enough how important it is that we all vote. I won't be voting in the primary because I'm a registered independent. Later on in the summer, maybe we can do have some people on a town hall about ballot access. And one of my big things is that, I think everybody should be able to vote in the primaries, but it's so important that you vote, and it's important that you understand that it's safe to vote from home. The mail-in ballot, it's a safe thing. Your information won't be compromised. Your vote will count. But we have a lot of work to do to make sure that people understand that their vote is safe and their vote will count. So starting now, please go to votespa.com, get your mail-in ballot application, and vote from home on June 2nd. If you want to vote in person, if for some reason you need to vote in person, there are few changes to the polling locations. The changes, you can find them at lackawannacounty.org. The Lackawanna County Elections Office number is 963-6737. There are a couple of polling location, actually a few polling location changes in Scranton. I don't have them up in front of me. But I do know it was a little bit confusing earlier this week. The two Scranton firehouses, the one on East Mountain and the one on Market Street in North Scranton, those two polling locations will not be used this primary because they are closed to the public right now. So they will not be polling locations. The alternative polling locations are very, very close, and we will make sure that information gets out. Thank you for everybody for being flexible on that. I'm not in a position, no mayor right now is in a position to open up a firehouse that's not currently open to the public. So it's happened across the state, and we're no exception. Okay, and then the census, my 2020 census.gov. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but I had a phone call from David Wallace in New York, the CEO of Dunder Mifflin, and he let us know that we're behind. We are behind. We need to get those numbers up. So my2020census.gov, please don't wait. I panic every time I see the data. We really need that money. We need to count every person in Scranton. It's our money for helping our community. So please go to my2020census.gov. If you know somebody who might not be understanding what the census is, if you could help walk them through it, or you can call us and let us know that you need help, and my team will call you back. And they can't walk you through it, but they can let people know what the resources are and where to find the help. We could also connect you to the Census Bureau workers. The certified Census Bureau workers can actually walk you through it. So my2020census.gov, or shoot us an email, scranton311@scrantonpa.gov. Maybe make the subject line census help, and we can point you in the right direction. Okay, I know this is going long today, so thanks for bearing with me, everybody. Just real quick on the food availability front, the next drive-through for Friends of the Poor is next Wednesday, May 27th, 2:30 to 5:30. It's at PNC Fields. Ooh, wow. Moving up. That's cool. So the emergency drive-through giveaway, Wednesday, May 27th, 2:30 to 5:30 at PNC Fields. And the other ones, everybody continues to do great work. Those are on the website. If you want to volunteer, you can go to facebook.com/NWNEPA. That's NeighborWorks Pennsylvania. That's a way to get some letters and acts of kindness to our nursing homes, or spreading throughout the community, spreading some smiles. And then serving seniors is Operation Reach Out. That's to get the information, get letters, cards, and children's drawings to the nursing homes. So you can email servsen, SERVSEN @epics.net, or call 344-3931 extension 4. And that's a cool way to spread some cheer in some nursing homes. So I know my mom got me a couple of cards. She did a late night run a few days ago. Actually went to the grocery store for the first time in a long time with her mask on, of course, and got us some cards. So we're going to send some to the nursing homes. All right. Keep checking on your neighbors, donate blood, 1-800 Red Cross. And then here we go. Questions. Sorry for the delay. I know that this is the fun part. Okay. how can I get involved with contact tracing? So last week we passed on the governor's announcement that there is now a civilian corps to help with contact tracing. We are badly need more testing and tracing in order to safely reopen fully. So you can sign up at serve.pa.gov. That is serv.pa.gov. Sign up to learn how to become a contact tracer and really become a local hero by helping us get out of this COVID crisis. Okay, so Michelle says that the due dates and penalties on the garbage bill are confusing. What is the due date? Okay, so if you pay your refuse bill before or on June 15th, you'll get a 10% discount. So $270 instead of $300. So that's $30. Great. So you've got another few weeks to get that in and get that discount. Between essentially June 16th and September 30th, you pay $300, no penalty. After September 30th, there is a penalty. That penalty will be assessed. So you can go on scrantonpa.gov, click on waste disposal online payments. I'm going to change that. That should say, we'll make it a little more clear. I don't like that link name. So scrantonpa.gov, waste disposal online payments. Let's get garbage and refuse on there. Sorry, a little editorial comment there for the team. All right, we'll do that. So go online, scrantonpa.gov. And through June 15th, you get 10% off. That's $30 off until September 30th, no penalty. After that, there'll be a penalty. Okay. Michael has a great reminder for us. Please be aware of the bike, boat, and pedestrian safety this weekend. Buckle up if you go out. Michael, thank you. Same with the driving. Just please only drive when you're sober. Always pick a sober driver. Usually we've got, Ubers and Lyfts out there and taxis to help us. Those are not around now, but that doesn't mean you should change your habits back to unsafe driving. So, wear those helmets. Don't drive while intoxicated. Watch out for pedestrians. There's a lot more people walking around now because they're trying to just get out of their house. So really be vigilant about the others that are around you. Thank you, Michael. Glenda is not seeing people wearing masks. I agree, Glenda. Any tips on how we can better get that message out? I feel like we all kind of know it by now. So I don't want to put it on all of you to be the mask police, but just a gentle reminder and nudge to folks, maybe in a nice way. Just it's a common courtesy for each other now. Sherry's okay. Great question, Sherry. Sherry, why are we still in the red phase? So we're still in the red phase because our new COVID cases are still over the metric that the governor is looking at us to be under. So right now, the governor wants there to be fewer than 50 new cases per 100,000 people in a county. With Lackawanna County, we have about 210,000 people. So we're looking at, 100 and need to be under 100 in cases and change over a 2-week period in order to go into the next phase. Unfortunately, we're still a couple times that. So we're not out of the woods in terms of that metric. So that's why we're still in red phase. We have too many cases based on the governor and the Department of Health's metric. And Craig, yes. Craig asks, any progress on opening streets for walking or biking and allow social distancing? Craig, we're still working on that. I'm sorry it's taking a while. It's a little bit complicated, as you can imagine, in terms of getting the emergency services and making sure the plan works with all of those different facets. So we're trying to get that online as soon as we can. And we've gotten some great feedback from some business owners about what they think could work for them, what they think could work in the downtown. So, we welcome everybody's thoughts. So that Scranton 311 email is a great way to send in your thoughts. And then we're trying really hard, Craig, and get something out that you guys can take a look at and City Council will look at. And I think it's going to be cool. And maybe it's something that we can do, every summer. I think there's some stuff that can come out of this that can help us really be a cool place to be. I think we're already a cool place to be, but be a cool place to be going forward. So ideas are welcome. And all right, there's a mail-in ballot question, which I love because I'm getting really stressed. I got kind of like mayor shamed last night a little bit, where somebody was saying to me that our numbers of mail-in ballot application requests were too low in Scranton. And I'm a pretty competitive person, so that worries me from a voter about ballot access and democracy perspective, but also just for me, I just want us to win. I want us to have really good mail-in ballot application numbers and vote at home numbers. So if you receive a mail-in ballot in person, or sorry, let me ask the question. If you receive a mail-in ballot, can you still vote in person? The answer is no. It's either one or the other. So if you receive a mail-in ballot, please mail that in or drop it at the Lackawanna County Government Center at 123 Wyoming Avenue in downtown Scranton. Do not go to the poll. You don't have to do both. You just do one. Obviously, given the crisis, we're still in a stay-at-home order. We're still under a state of emergency. Our public buildings aren't open. Just do the vote at home if you can. You've got to go to pavotes.gov. Got to get that mail-in application and get that. Please do it today. Do it now. My team will continue to put stuff on social media. We'll do some Instagram. I am not on Twitter enough, but I'll try to have somebody else tweet for me maybe, because there's so much else going on. I never quite get to that. But as much as you can, please, please, please vote at home. And voting at home is safe, similar with the census. Voting at home works. I honestly should probably just have my mom come on here and talk to you about what it's like to vote in Oregon. My very first election was in 2000. It was a very heated presidential election that year. And my very first vote was a mail-in ballot. And in Oregon, it's just been a mail-in ballot for my entire adult life. And it works. Your vote counts, your voice counts, your voice is heard. And actually, Colorado, Oregon, these states that have had vote at home for a long time, their voter participation rates are much higher than they are in a place like Pennsylvania. I saw some interesting data yesterday. In 2018, 96% of Pennsylvanians voted in person. It's really cool. And I'll say, I would look forward to taking my daughter to vote with me at the poll. I remember being with my dad when he voted in 1992. I got to go to the voting booth with him. That is a cool experience, but it should be an option, not the only way you can do it. If it's the only way you can do it, it hinges on that one day, that one set of 14 hours where in November it can snow. You're taking care of an older loved one that they get sick, or your child gets sick, or your dog gets sick, or work is crazy, you can't get to the poll. Your car breaks down. There's so many things that can happen, and that reduces voter participation all over the state of Pennsylvania. So we're so glad that the rules relaxed a little bit. We now have no excuse absentee voting, and that's that mail-in ballot. So votespa.com. Can't say it enough. Please do it today. Get your mail-in ballot application. It's safe. My mom just voted in Oregon via mail. We dropped it in the mailbox. She has no worries that her voice isn't going to be heard. So please trust the process. We'll continue to get you information about this so that you can feel comfortable with it. I know it's a lot to change. But it's a good thing. It'll help us all eventually have more of us make our voices heard. Okay, let's see. So Tamara is asking where we can find the details for what's required for safety in a business to be open in yellow phase. So great questions, Tamara. I have a lot of questions about the yellow phase. A shout out to the Scranton Times. They have a great section in the paper today about yellow phase. If you get the paper, actually, Mom, do you have that? Hold on. We'll grab it. I got it. Sorry, it's just very interactive Facebook Live Zoom today. But yeah, so the Reopen article has a lot of really interesting information. So John O'Connell, good job on that. I thought there was some cool stuff in here, Tamara, about what it means. So yellow phase, for example, no haircuts, no nail salons, but yes, you can go to the dog groomer. Can't eat in restaurants and bars, still takeout only. Yellow means you can have a gathering of a 25 person maximum instead of 10. So that's something to look forward to. Yard sales, we're definitely not doing yard sales now in the red phase. That's just not, we're still in the red phase. So no yard sales, but I am hoping that in yellow phase, we can have those. But it'll be really important to make sure that, you are not handling all this money and things. You need to have that sanitizer, maybe have gloves. We'll try to get some more guidance for that. And this is where it might be, it's not nice. I'm not going to pretend it's nice, but having some of these other counties go through yellow phase first, we're going to have some lessons learned from them, and we'll be able to understand better what we need to do. So tomorrow, I'd say go to the Department of Labor and Industry website. They have details on the safety precautions. So that's dli.pa.gov, dli.pa.gov, also cdc.gov. And then as we go through this, we will make sure that we're getting that information out from the city to what are those standards that need to be met. We've been doing that. We've been making sure the CDC guidance is everywhere, but we'll continue to do that. We'll do another round. We'll have that available not only electronically, but we'll make sure that is outside, something that you can pick up in paper form if you need it. Okay. Let's see if there are other questions. Okay. I'm sorry that I'm not on. I can't see the Facebook questions right now. So we'll just give it another second if there's any other questions that the team puts up there for me. Oh, see, my mom is here to remind me that it's Memorial Day is on Monday, and it's easy to get through all of this and forget things like that. So I'm excited that I get to participate in a ceremony, a very socially distanced ceremony of fewer than 10 people on Monday at Nayog Park with VFW Post 25. We'll be celebrating the 100th anniversary of a World War I memorial there, and it is my deep honor to be able to go do that with Post 25. So it'll be a really special moment. Unfortunately, it won't be with all of you. I know that in 1920, there were thousands and thousands of people at Nayog for the dedication of that monument. So we're disappointed that it won't be something that we can all be in there in person for, but we'll certainly share all the pictures. Maybe my mom can take a video from the car or something. It's gonna be a really special day. And Memorial Day is a special day for all of the veterans out there, all of their families, everyone who's made sacrifices throughout their lives, and sacrifices where their loved ones have given it all. So we will. Sorry, my mom and I always get really emotional with these things. So it's Memorial Day, so don't forget that. If you have a moment on Memorial Day, be with your family and be grateful for every sacrifice that those veterans have made for all of us, so that we can be here together and be here and be safe, be here and be able to vote. I think that's actually kind of a perfect way to say it. We can vote. We have a democracy because of the sacrifices of the veterans, and those that are still out there in the world defending us every day. We're grateful to you. We're grateful to your families, all you family members out there that have a loved one that sits overseas, especially during this time. I can't imagine how difficult that is. So we appreciate you very, very much. Happy Memorial Day. Thanks to you guys all for tuning in. We'll be back on Tuesday, and you can always call us 348-4101 or Scranton 311 at scrantonpa.gov. Thank you for being part of this conversation, and you guys help me do my job better every day, and I appreciate it. So thanks. Try to enjoy the weekend.